let's go ahead and jump into it if that's okay.
Hi, I'm Maddie.
And I'm Abigail, and this is
Two writers.
Many Wrongs. JP, Jennifer Lyn Parsons, writes fantasy, soft sci-fi, and fairy tales, often with neurodivergent or queer characters. In addition to working on her own writing, she also runs Luna Station Quarterly, an online literary journal devoted to female-identified speculative fiction writers. The Quarterly is the daughter publication of the small publishing company she runs, Luna Station Press. Outside of writing, she's a software engineer working to make the internet a more human-friendly place. She also happens to be Maddie's boss, as Maddie is an editor for Luna Station Quarterly. Thank you so much for joining us, JP. So, where did the idea come from for your literary journal and your press?
So it 2008-ish, 2009, there was a great big, you know, recession.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Great Recession, that's right. So yeah, Great Recession happened. I was a graphic designer, working in recruitment advertising for in newspapers.
Oh.
So when the recession happens, there was now no jobs, so no recruitment ads, and newspaper like went away.
Yeah.
Like print went away. It disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
And I sat there going, well, now what?
Yeah.
So, fortunately, I had been building websites on the side, and I just like hobby stuff. So I was like, well, let me become a software engineer then. So I was out of work for a little over two years of full time. I had a little bit of part time work near the end. Turned myself into a software engineer. While I was doing that, there's only so much time you can spend doing that kind of thing. And I had been writing fan fiction for a good couple of years at that point. I was large in the Star Wars fandom. Old Force,
Nice.
the Force.net forums.
Uh-huh.
I think there's still some of my stuff is still up there, like deep in the archives, unless it disappeared in some migration. Um, and I met a lot of really amazing writers who were writing stories. I don't know how much y'all read fan fiction. The stuff I was reading and being exposed to was fleshing out
Mhm.
so much character depth that was missing or I saw as missing
Yeah.
in the movies. There's just not enough time to build tons of character when you have to hop through three, four planets
Yeah.
100%.
in a
Yeah.
2 hour period. So I was seeing all this deep character work, and it was mostly being, and continues to still be, mostly being written by women identified authors.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Lots of exploration of identity and
Mm-hmm.
queer spaces, but also just like, hey, I want to write stories about, well, we see it now 15 years later, all the romanticy stuff
Yeah.
Yeah.
basically reads like fan fiction to me. I'm like, that's the stuff
Yes.
that we
Yes,
were all
exactly.
looking for, and we finally became authors type of
Mm-hmm.
things, right? Um, so I had time on my hands. I had the ability to build a website. I had been in fandom and writing in fandom for long enough that I felt confident as like I know what a good story looked like. I'm also a lifelong reader. So I knew what a good story looked like. And I had all these folks who were excellent writers, and I was like, they should have a forum for their original fiction. And this was long enough ago. This was Luna Station's in year 16 now that we this was before the sad puppies. This was
Mm-hmm.
before like all of the women's voices need to be heard,
Yep.
all that. Like we were there before all that stuff started really happening.
Good for you.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it was you didn't see lots of women on
Mm-hmm.
the ballots for the year-end awards and all
Yeah.
that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. So it was felt really, really needed.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the ability to do it. And I was like, I can put a website up and like edit things. And the
Yeah.
first issue only, I think, has 8 stories in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to scramble and like beg people to hand me stories
Yeah.
for the first issue. For some perspective, we now receive somewhere around 200 and 230 submissions per quarter.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my
it's a
gosh.
lot.
Yeah.
So at different phases, like it definitely evolves over time. So that was the quarterly, and that got off the ground. It was just me by myself for a little while. There's a whole evolution. I can go into the whole evolution, but at some point I was writing my own fiction, and my dear family has also they're also writers, poets. I know people who write books.
Hmm.
And I was like, I want I want to put my stuff out.
Yeah.
Like for me, completion
Hmm.
is a physical copy in my hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I can guess what? I was print designer. Guess what? I know a lot about typography and layout and all the other kind of stuff. So I was like, well, and at that time, when that, I forget what year it was that we started doing that stuff, whatever year my first book came out, um, print on demand became a thing
Hmm.
that was possible.
Yeah.
And I
Wow.
was like, oh, you mean I don't have to invest thousands and thousands of dollars into
Yeah.
Right.
buying hundreds and hundreds of copies and then storing them somewhere?
Hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
this now becomes possible. Um, so yeah, and that just kind of went from there and has become like the parent
Hmm.
organization
Yeah.
around Luna Station.
I love that basically it was like a collection of talents that like led to all of this. You're like, you know what? Do that. You know what? I could probably do that too. Like, I
Yep.
love that innovative spirit. That's awesome.
I mean, that's how I got into software engineering. That's how I got
That's,
into print design. I'm an autodidact, as they say. Like
Mhm.
I am a college dropout. I didn't do bad in school. It
yeah.
just wasn't a
Yeah.
right fit for me.
Yep.
And I didn't know what I was a music education major, and I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I don't know what I'm going to do with, I don't want to teach, and I don't know what to do with this.
Hmm.
So instead of, I wasn't taking loans out and all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. So I'm like, my parents are paying out of pocket for state school, which was actually affordable back
Right.
then. But I was like, I don't know what to do. So I
Yeah.
dropped out and worked retail and all that kind of stuff, and just eventually landed in the right place at the right time, and was given an opportunity to gather some skills people would pay me for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I just want to go back a little bit because
Sure.
sorry, Maddie. I love Star Wars, so I'm just
Yeah.
wondering like what was your particular fanfic? What did you like to explore?
I got fandom awards for my Obi-Wan.
Oh, I love that. Did you
So
like the Obi-Wan show?
I loved it. I
Okay, me
loved it.
too.
Absolutely loved
So
it.
many people didn't like it. Like just sobbed the entire time. I
Yeah.
loved it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that
No,
makes me so
I could
happy.
there's Obi-Wans all over my spaces.
Oh, I love that. My dad, I let all of my parents pick their own grandparent name when my daughter was born, and his grandfather name is Obi.
That's
Yeah,
Oh,
so
that's so cute. I
yeah,
didn't know that.
yeah,
I
yeah,
love that
yeah,
so
yeah.
much.
He's Obi.
That's so good.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I love that. Okay, side conversation as well. Did you hear the drama about the Adam Driver Kylo Ren movie?
No, I did not.
So he worked 2 years developing a sequel after episode 9 for Kylo Ren, and it was called The Hunt for Ben Solo. And
Okay.
I can't remember who the screenwriter was, but got like some huge screenwriter to write it out, brought
Uh-huh.
it to Marvel, and they were like, or to Disney or whatever, and they were like, I just don't see a way that Kylo Ren's alive. It's like, oh, but the fucking Emperor was alive? Really?
Right?
Oh,
It's called
but
the
Darth
cloning, the
Maul
whole
got cut in
cloning
half?
thing. There's
Yeah.
all the cloning stuff. This is
Yeah.
not like
Yeah.
difficult with Star Wars.
Yeah. I'm like, if Adam Driver wants to play Kylo Ren, let him.
I would see it. I
Right?
would see it.
Yeah.
I would see it too.
I want to
Uh,
Right?
see more of the good boy sweater.
Yes, me too. Oh my God. When he slides in and does the little bow, oh, it gets me. It's so good. Okay. Sorry for the Star Wars tangent.
no,
I
no, that
had
was beautiful. I
I had to
loved
go
every
back for
moment of
it.
that. I loved every moment of that. I do. Wait,
Yeah.
can I say something? My
Oh
goodness.
my God, you
Yes.
want to
Um,
talk? You want to talk? Sorry, Maddie never talks.
I know. So she just, yeah, she
Yes,
just
please.
assumes I don't want to talk. That's fair. It's
Okay,
fair.
okay. So I'm a manager now, so I can recognize that, and now that I know that, then I need to ask Maddie
Oh
questions
yeah.
and ask if she has questions because
Yes.
one of my main motivators as a manager to make sure that everyone has a voice in the room. So
I
I
I
love
love
it.
that, and that's very beautiful. But what I wanted to bring up is the fact that I liked how you were in this space of writing this Star Wars fan fiction, and you
yeah,
were seeing this community. You were seeing specifically that there were these female identified voices, and you wanted to create a space for them specifically.
Mhm.
I think that's so cool that you recognized that and wanted to move over and have a space for them to develop their skills and have a community for that. I think that's really beautiful.
thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you.
And
It
again, to be
was
a pioneer in that is really inspiring as well.
thank you. It's something that like gosh, I don't even know what to say. Just
Just know that we see you and appreciate you, and especially, when you said you started back in 2008, like obviously that space didn't exist, but even nowadays with trans rights being attacked, like just having it
yeah.
be a female identifying inclusive space is just really remarkable, and I love that you've created that.
Thank you. It's interesting. I was last year, like before the elections, like way
Hmm.
last year, or 2 years ago even, I was starting to feel like, wow, maybe we're not needed anymore. Like there were
Oh.
so many female identified voices out
Hmm.
in the world, authors, I mean, the romantasy
Yeah.
explosion, and book talk, as much as I'm not on TikTok at
Yeah.
all because
Yeah.
I can't. Um,
Same.
that whole it felt very much for a while for the last couple years that women and women identified folks were driving
Hmm.
literary literature, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
It just kind
Totally.
of felt like it exploded a lot.
Hmm.
And there was all this support and things felt more equitable,
Yeah.
for lack of a better way of putting it. And then, well, then we know what's happened. And
Yeah.
all of a sudden January hit and everything. I was working in government work at the time,
Oh,
government contracting
wow.
work. So, um, it all came crashing down and I was just like,
Mhm.
forget we didn't discuss whether I can curse or not.
No,
We
you can
forget.
You
absolutely
can,
curse.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Great. So I we got so many good stories that I could not bear rejecting for the March issue.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck it. We're doing the double
Yeah.
size issue.
Oh, I
'Cause-
love that.
And I was like, let's kick off,
Hmm.
we our 15th year anniversary,
Yep.
whatever, with
Especially with
like this
March being
giant
Women's
issue.
History Month.
Yes, which I
Yeah.
always forget about because I'm so busy doing
Yeah.
production in
Yeah.
February
Yeah.
that I'm like, oh shit, that's right. I should do something for that. Well, here's an issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That I
Exactly.
think that is it.
Yeah.
Celebrating women's voices, women
Yeah.
identified voices in Women's History Month. That is
Yeah.
Yeah.
amazing.
Well, and like I've been really struggling with, how I can better protest and resist the tyrannical government that we're living under. And so I feel like that's a really wonderful way to use your power and to use your
Yeah.
voice to continue
Yeah.
to promote all of those other voices. Like that's a really significant form of protest.
I don't, it's like I get that and I think about it sometimes, but I don't think about it because it's like I've been doing this we're in year 16.
Right?
So first issue came out in 2010. I don't even remember what the world felt like back then. It's
Yeah.
been a while. But it's like this is what I do. And
Hmm.
sometimes, I mean, I've had the conversations with my family of like in some ways we could be seen as a radical organization and it concerns me,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
but at the same time I'm like, but we're so tiny, we are still
Right.
so tiny
Yeah.
Yeah.
that I'm like, but important at the same time. Like
Hmm.
we have people have heard of us
Hmm.
even though we're still very small. So I'm like, well, then we're still doing good work and this is
Yeah.
the work I can do.
Yep.
I am pleased with the level of impact that I am having. I'll
I
put it
love
that
that.
way.
Yep.
Yeah. for one, I'm somebody who's followed the magazine for I think so, probably since 2014. 2014, 2015. And reading it and just enjoying it and just having like this nice place to go where it is speculative writers that are female identified and just continued to inspire me to continue writing and feel like I'm not alone. There are, because sometimes as a woman writing speculative, you can kind of get in your own head like I'm the only one, which is so silly because that's so not true. So like having this reminder that there are so many other really talented women just kept me motivated to continue to work on my own stuff.
Mhm. Yeah. I do want to ask, is like, how have you kind of found yourself fitting in over the last 16 years in like the greater literary magazine community? Like, do you have any connections with other magazines, or is it kind of like an insular, you just do your thing?
It's pretty insular for me.
Yeah.
It's funny because I think it was last year, all of a sudden, I forget, and I forgive me, I forget who the person is, but the editor of Interzone
Hmm.
picked up. We connected a little bit on Blue Sky,
Hmm.
and then I also connected a little bit with Neil Clark from Clark's World on Blue
Yeah.
Sky because we both live in
Cool.
New Jersey, and
Hmm.
we had an earthquake.
Oh God.
Which is not a New Jersey thing,
No.
but it was significant.
Uh-huh.
And I was on, I don't know, commented on Blue Sky. He commented on Blue Sky. We had like a little, back and forth and stuff like that. And like, I felt he sends out a survey to editors for a bunch of magazines
Mhm.
at the end of the year. So I fill out his end of the year. But it's like, it's funny because like that was the first time I felt like I had any connection whatsoever to like
Mhm.
the larger literary community. And I think part of it is because Luna Station's not my full-time job. That,
Yeah.
software
Hmm.
engineering is my full-time job.
Yeah.
Now software managing is my full-time job.
Hmm.
And so I haven't been to cons. I'm
Right.
also highly introverted.
Yeah.
So writers are. So I'm like,
Yep.
how do cons work? Because like
It's
everyone's an intro.
stressful.
That's the thing. And I'm like, work is stress. I have to show up for work every day.
Yeah.
Anyway, um, so yeah, I felt like we've been in this. Like, it's always shocking to me in a
Hmm.
way when somebody says like, "Oh my God, Luna Station, I love you," and I'm like,
Oh.
wow, you've heard of like wow, okay. It's
Yeah.
not just me plugging away at things on my computer at
Hmm.
home, like other people actually do see this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and anytime I get like emails from authors who we have published a lot of people's first publications.
Wow.
I finally started tracking it like
Oh,
a
good.
year or
Because that's
two
so
ago.
special.
I need
Hmm.
to go back and gather a whole lot of data. But for now, like I am tracking it and it's like a couple times a year we're publishing somebody's first publication.
That's awesome.
And it's so good. It's so gratifying.
Hmm.
Um, and sometimes it's them,
Hmm.
sometimes it's just some other author who has been published in a bunch of other places who will reply to the acceptance letter with such enthusiasm and oh this is my dream publication or those kinds of things and or such an honor, all those kinds of, and I'm just like oh this is why I do this
Yeah.
Hmm.
because it is having an impact and people know who we are.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
So,
good.
how do you balance out like having a full-time, job that pays the bills and all the rest of it, but then you
Yeah.
also have the magazine, but then you also have the publishing house, like the press. Like, how do you
Right.
balance all three of those things?
So the day job kind of takes care of itself because that's
Okay.
9 to 5.
Okay.
And it used to take more time because um I used to have to do a lot of studying outside of work
Hmm.
because as software engineering's tough.
Hmm.
And there's a lot of self-teaching.
Okay.
You're constantly learning. I'm constantly learning. You
Hmm.
never get in software engineering to feel like you have mastery over something because as soon as you feel like you got a foothold, there's new developments.
Okay.
Mhm.
Um, so the industry is just built on you're always learning
Hmm.
in when I was earlier in my career, that took extra time outside
Hmm.
of work. Now it doesn't. which is yay.
Yeah.
Nice. A little time
So
back.
after
Yeah.
outside of that, the quarterly takes precedence.
Okay.
That's the thing that comes out every quarter.
Hmm.
That's the thing that has staff,
Hmm.
that has responsibilities to people outside of me,
Right.
basically.
Yeah.
The press is a total other, it's a boutique thing. It's
Hmm.
a personal like project basically.
Okay.
And it kind of like when something's ready to come out, it
Hmm.
comes out.
Do
Part
you
of the
have
reason
people sending you manuscripts for it?
No, I don't
Okay.
take manuscripts.
Okay.
I do not have the capacity
Yeah.
to not even like get the book together,
Right.
but the advertising and like
Yeah,
the
that's what I would think. Like
infrastructure
that's a
that's
lot.
needed. Yeah, no,
Okay.
I can't. I mean,
Okay.
I barely like when I release a book, it's like, oh, by the way, here's a book. Bye. Because like,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh, I
That's
get
something
that.
we talk about a lot when we talk about the marketing side
Yeah. That's
of a
like
book
the
is the
only
hardest part.
reason that I want to traditionally publish is because I don't have it in me to do the advertising.
no, no. And
Oh,
even then, even with traditional publishing, you still have to be out there
I
It's
and
know.
true.
go
I
getting
just I
and
don't want to I'm not good at selling myself, you know? Like
I
that's
don't think you're not alone.
I hate that that's I'm so torn because I do understand the need to like support people who we morally align with. And like as much as I was that Harry Potter kid growing up, like I am
Mhm.
absolutely not supporting JKR anymore.
Yeah.
But then there's the other side of me that I'm like, can't this book, like, can't I just put a book out into the world and not have to sell myself? Like, can't you just like, and like, I see both sides of it so much. I'm like, well, just don't be a hateful person, and then I
Yeah.
can buy your book.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so hard. Like, I don't want to buy a book based on the author, but I have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. For me, like I said earlier in the conversation, having a physical copy in my hand, it's
Hmm.
done. It's
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was the last book I put out, which unfortunately it's been 5 years since it came out.
You've been
Came
doing
out
stuff.
February 2020 was not the best time to release a book.
Yeah.
It's a
That's
rough,
hard.
Um,
rough time.
but that said, I decided with that one was really special to me. It was one of the best things I've ever written. I was really, really proud of it.
Mhm.
Um, it had I did a really good job on the design. Like I'm like, this
Yeah.
is
I
the full
love it.
package.
Yeah.
This is the one I want. Like, if I'm gonna hand somebody something that I have written, this
Yeah.
is the one I want to hand
Hmm.
people, right?
Mhm.
So I actually did try to do like I did the newsletter thing. I did the
Hmm.
social media campaign. I
Hmm.
did like just kind of like talking it up to people and
Yeah.
sharing it with my various networks and all that kind of stuff. And that was me like still in my introvert like trying my best like
Yeah.
within reason. I didn't
Yeah.
go wild.
Right.
I didn't take out ads any place.
Right.
I
Yeah.
didn't go try to like get it in bookstores or
Hmm.
something like that. I'm like this is me doing what feels reasonable.
Yeah.
And
Right.
I sold about 120 copies,
Wow, that's
That's
awesome.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
which was really like it's funny because we sit here going like, wow, that's great. I'm like, I think it netted, it's like how much did that actually net me? Not
Yeah.
a lot, you know? And it was dribbled over time over like a course of a month or two. And
Hmm.
Yeah.
then since then, I have not sold a single copy of it. So it
Wow.
had this flurry for about a month and a half, maybe
Hmm.
2 months,
Yeah.
and then it was gone. It's
Hmm.
like it never happened.
Man.
Um, so I was okay with that though,
Yeah.
because this is what like I go back to like I have a full-time job.
Hmm.
The
Yep.
writing and the publishing has to fit in outside of that. And I think it's something that doesn't get talked about
Yeah.
enough. Um,
Hmm.
I was in Barnes and Noble a couple weeks ago just looking at like, oh, what's going on in the writing books section,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
Um, and every single writing book that I saw was how to make your career out of
Mhm.
Yes.
writing.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, well, that's cool and all if you have like a spouse or somebody who's going to support you while you maybe some
Right.
sort of living out of that. But what about the rest of us who are
Mm-hmm.
active writers, who are publishing, who
Yep.
are trying to fit this in the margins?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
um how are we supposed to do this? And somebody, and I don't know, maybe it'll end up being me, somebody needs to write a book about how to fit that creative life
Yeah.
in when you're like, I am not actively pursuing writing as a career.
I mean, Maddie and
Why?
we've talked about that before of like, we know our writing is never, it's not going to pay the bills, you know? Like, if it could pay for a fancy dinner, we would be excited about that, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
And I would love to read that book if you ever want to write it, because so many of these books are like, you have to write every day and treat it like a job and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, that's not the life that I live. And then I feel
Right.
guilty for not fulfilling that idea of a writer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
one of the reasons we wanted to create this podcast is to
Hmm.
kind of create a bigger community of writers and
Hmm.
have we've got talked to all kinds of writers and we've talked to literary magazine editors and
Hmm.
just every single story is different.
Yeah.
Everybody's path looks completely different.
Yep.
Hmm.
And it's always really interesting to see the different approaches people take.
Hmm.
And just kind of refreshing to know that those little textbooks about how to be a career writer is such a small percentage of people. Like, that's
Hmm.
just not sustainable for most people.
I mean, very few of the authors that we've interviewed make their living off of their books, you know? I
Hmm.
mean, I feel like that notion is kind of blown out of proportion. I feel like a lot of authors are working in the academic world, but I
Yeah.
love to hear about authors working in other industries, you know? Like, I think it's
Mhm.
so freaking cool that you have like this whole technological brain over here and then are still being creative. Like, I love that.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny because so much about software and problem solving and all that has it feeds back and forth, right? Like
Mm.
I know how to I'm very unattached to the code I write
Hmm.
because it feels very temporary, right? And the reason I was able to, a lot of people do get, like, especially early career people get like, I spent hours on this piece of code and now
Yeah.
you're just gonna like delete it. And it's like, yeah, because we need to change it,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. And I was able to adjust to that idea rather quickly
Mhm.
because I had gone through that whole fiction
Hmm.
experience where I had beta readers who were like, you need to ditch this section and like help this. And like I was very fortunate that I had a couple of folks very early on in because I didn't start writing until I was in my 20s,
Okay.
right? Um I'm an old, right? I am full on Gen X.
Hmm.
So like I was older when I started writing in the first place. And then I was fortunate enough to have a couple mentors who were, I won't say they were harsh,
Hmm.
but they were clear about like, this is why your writing's not working. Here's how you can make it better.
I
And
love that.
really, I will, for to the end of my days, recommend that anyone who is like maybe a late bloomer starting writing, or even young folks too, um, start writing fan fiction
Hmm.
because you get to learn the mechanics of how to tell a good story
Hmm.
without the overhead of going, well, now I have to create an entire fantasy world,
Right.
or even if you're writing fiction in like real world settings, it's like
Hmm.
you have to come up with all the characters and
Hmm.
like it's like no, start with fan fiction because you really do you get to break apart why does this character work?
Yeah.
Why am I able to write a good Obi-Wan? Because I understand like what Obi-Wan should be saying,
Yeah.
right? I haven't written him in 15 years, so
I'm just, you're inspiring
but
me to want to write fan fiction because I'm a contemporary fiction writer. I'm terrified of sci-fi fantasy. I find
okay.
you guys are incredible that you can do that. The world building does not exist. But now I'm like, well, maybe I'll start writing some fan fiction and like
Oh, yeah.
learn how to play in that magical world because that's pretty cool.
Yes. Yes, and that's it. It's playing. I will say my that novel that I was talking about
Mhm.
that was contemporary. There was not a
Okay.
single snippet of no hint of speculative fiction to it whatsoever.
Amazing. I
So yeah,
do just as we're
yeah,
talking about these differences here, on
yeah.
your website in your about section, you talk about soft fantasy, and I love like for our listeners, it's not something we've ever talked about before. Like, what is the difference between like soft versus hard sci-fi and fantasy?
Oh, that's a great question. Um, let's see. It depends on how you want to break it down. So, well, sci-fi is a little bit easier.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Um, Sci-fi is always, at least from what I have seen and my understanding of it, sci-fi is always a fiction of ideas, as they say.
Hmm.
What ifs, lots of
Hmm.
what if.
Yeah.
Hard sci-fi tends to be more actually scientifically grounded.
Hmm.
You're like, oh, black holes. Okay, we understand how black holes work. We're going to tell a story about something with black holes, but
Hmm.
the Interstellar was a great example of hard sci-fi with a
Okay,
lot of heart to it, but hard sci-fi. Like
cool.
they had a physicist on set
Yeah. Like
checking,
would
fact checking
like
everything.
would Andy Weir be in that category?
Andy Weir is also hard sci-fi.
Okay,
And
cool.
you can see like there's a lot of like fun and
Hmm.
like great character and great heart to it, but at the end, at the core of it, it's hard sci-fi.
Okay.
Soft sci-fi tends to blur that line between sci-fi and like space fantasy,
Hmm.
or we get a lot of with a quarterly, we get a lot of soft sci-fi where like there's faster than light engines, but hand waving.
Okay.
We don't know how
Um,
that works.
we don't know how it works. We're just gonna,
I
I mean,
love it.
faster than light engines, period, because
Right.
apparently there's not supposed to be able to exist. So if
Okay.
there's a faster than light engine of any variety,
Hmm.
it's gone a bit soft.
Okay.
Um, Star Trek to a certain degree is soft fan sci-fi.
Cool.
I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of Trekkies that are going to come after me for that one, but
Well, I mean, I
Listen,
got my Star Trek shelf, so
I'd
I'll
say
defend you.
Maddie can defend us. Yeah.
Because it's
okay,
not there, the science is very pseudoscience, let's
Hmm.
reverse
that's
the
yeah,
polarity.
Yeah.
That's not going to do
yeah. What
anything.
does that
Yeah.
mean exactly?
Would that
So
be like The Expanse? I know those were based on books, but the TV show The Expanse is kind of maybe
I
soft.
I'd
I
say
don't
probably
know.
more hard sci-fi
Okay. Okay.
because there's a lot of it explains like there's these groups of people based their physiology is different because of the gravity.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
And
Okay.
then
Okay.
they talk about all the engines and how
So
those things
basically,
work.
if they
But there is
explain it,
fantasy in it too.
it's hard fiction.
yeah, I would say like or
Okay.
But
sometimes it's like Interstellar, they didn't necessarily they explain bits of things,
Okay.
I'd say
but
like it's like there's like it's a spectrum. Like it
Okay.
can
yeah,
lean more hard, but
Hmm.
not be completely
yeah.
Gotcha.
factual.
And
Is
then for the
there, go
oh, go
ahead.
ahead. Oh, 'cause for the fantasy stuff, um, I'm not sure what hard is. Well, yeah, I'm not sure what there would be hard or soft fantasy. I think there's
Mhm.
high and low
High, low.
magic.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, okay.
So where there's like magic is part of the infrastructure and it's
Hmm.
like there's schools of magic and stuff like that and the
Hmm.
aforementioned Harry Potter has a certain amount of high fantasy to it. Game
Gotcha.
of Thrones is low fantasy,
Okay.
right? It's got a little bit of magic in it, maybe there's some supernatural stuff going
Hmm.
on, but
Mother
it's not.
dragons and whatnot.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like maybe it's more connected to the natural world, and
Okay.
like magic is kind of like part of how the world just functions
Hmm.
rather than being something people are actively studying and
Gotcha. Okay.
that kind of
I've just
thing. At
always
least
been
my
curious
take.
about it, because
Yeah.
I was working at a independent bookstore not too long ago, and through that started reading romance, which I had never read before, and like started to get into that genre. And now, of course, getting to work with Maddie so much, I want to get into the sci-fi kind of aspect of things, but it's just always been very intimidating. So it's nice to know that there's kind of a break there of like you can maybe start with like soft sci-fi and then,
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's my favorite term, which Star Wars falls into this very firmly,
Hmm.
space fantasy,
Yeah.
Yes.
which
Yes.
is what I've written as well. Like my
Okay.
my first book was space fantasy. Actually the second one was too. Um, so
I love that though.
yeah, so that's kind of the thing.
Hmm.
If you're not worried about if there's lots of faster than light travel, the ideas that you're talking about are not necessarily related to anything like
The Force, it's just there.
yeah, the force is just there. It's a
Yep.
magical force that
Yeah.
binds us all together,
Yeah.
right? It's not like there's more Zen Buddhism in
Hmm.
Star Wars than there is science, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Cool. Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
I also just want to get your opinion on this. Maddie and I have I'm not going to say an argument. I'm going to say we have a discourse going
Mm.
about writing in itself. And I
Mhm.
know that you are a very crafty person, have a lot of, craft hobbies and stuff. I do too. And so I want to know, like, from your perspective, do you view writing as an art or as more of a craft?
Oh gosh.
And Maddie and I argue about this all the
I
time.
still argue. I think that because there's good points on both
There are
sides.
good points on both sides. I can totally see both sides of it. And there are books that I feel like are art, but I don't know. Sorry, we
I
put you on
have
the
no.
spot.
Yeah, I know. I'm totally stumped now because there's a couple things running through my head as like analogies, right?
Yeah.
Um, because there's certain aspects of it, like I think about inspiration,
Hmm.
right? So when you talk about art, you're often thinking about inspiration. Actually, I'm gonna go and like tread the line right down the middle,
Okay.
right? I think that much like any of the craft stuff I do, right? I'm currently building a guitar. This is my second guitar I've
Cool.
built.
What? I didn't even know you could do
That's
that.
awesome.
Yeah, so I'm building my second guitar. I've built one before. Those are objects that require a lot of skill
Mhm.
to be able to do it. But at the same time, like where did the idea come from?
Mhm.
I'm using a kit, so it's a little bit easier, but still like what I want it to look like, my vision for it, that's where it's art, right?
Yeah.
That is art. And the object that comes out of it is a piece of art.
Hmm.
Um, I
Mm.
think writing is the same way. I
Hmm.
think there is craft that you develop over time.
Hmm.
Uh, but at the core of it, you're dealing with art because those ideas are coming from somewhere and you're interpreting things. And at least, I mean, maybe there's some writers that are very craft and they're
Hmm.
like, I am putting words together in the
Right.
proper order
Yeah.
in order to make things happen or whatever.
Hmm.
I don't know what that would feel like because for me, it tends to feel like not to sound completely woo-woo about it, but it often feels like when I am really in the zone and writing, it feels like channeling. Like I feel like
Yes.
I can
Yes.
hear my
Yes.
characters' voices in my
Totally.
head. I know what they're gonna say. I know
That's not
what
a
they're
craft.
supposed
That's
to be
art.
doing,
Yeah.
and that's very much like that's coming from on high or wherever that inspiration is coming, and that's very much art.
Hmm.
Having done drawing, done all these different physical crafts and stuff like that, like yeah, it's both. And
Yeah.
it just depends on what part of it you're working on.
Hmm.
First draft for me is total art.
Art
Second draft is
is
craft.
craft. Yeah.
I
I think
love that breakdown.
I really love how you articulated it and then you really like honed it
Hmm.
in there at the end because that is exactly how I
Yeah.
feel about it. I've always thought
Hmm.
it's a little bit of both. So I
Hmm.
don't think you can really have one without the other because even if you understand the craft, if you don't have the inspiration, you're not going to tell a very good story.
Yeah.
Right.
And if you don't have the craft, then your art's not going to be very accessible to people because they're not going to be able to
Yeah.
understand what you're trying to convey.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
my problem with it has always been like other people make art. My books aren't art. What are you talking about? So I like
There
that
are
perspective of it that
Your
there's
art,
aspects
Abigail.
to both. I don't know. I don't know about that. No, I love that. I want to bring it back to the like writing side of it a little bit, just when you're
Mhm.
talking about that inspiration, the channeling for it. When you write, are you more of a pantser or a plotter?
Oh, I'm a pantser. If I
Yes.
if I have an outline, I've written the story and I'm bored.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Oh my
Tell me
gosh,
more about
thank
that.
you. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So, caveat that I am neurodiverse.
Hmm.
So, there are certain things that are just going to be like squirrel.
Yeah.
Um, and that goes right along with it. If I write an outline, I have already told myself the story,
Hmm.
and I don't want to read it again.
Yeah. Dude. Yes.
Like I've written it, we're done. I'm done now.
Uh,
Um, so outlines are a big no-no for me. That
hmm.
does not mean I don't know where I'm going.
Hmm. Yeah.
I very much have like I know what I want to happen. I know where I want my characters to end up. I probably even have like waypoints along the way that I know I want to hit here, here, here. But that's about as far as it goes. So it has like a shape and I know where I'm headed.
Hmm.
And then everything's discovery. And for
Yeah.
me, first draft, my best first drafts are me, pencil, yellow notepad,
Oh.
mostly dialogue
Uh-huh.
with
Oh,
some stage direction.
Cool.
I
So
really like that.
skeleton, like I look
Yeah.
at it, in my head, it's a skeleton.
Uh-huh.
And then I usually only do here's this I don't do 50 drafts or
Hmm.
anything like that because again, squirrel. Um I get that first draft down. That's just churning through things. That's
Hmm.
me hearing the characters. Let's get the words down. There'll be descriptions and stuff like that, but get it all down. Second draft is okay, now I need to go through and put meat on all the bones.
Hmm.
And that's when it sits really in between that line between craft and art
Yeah.
because now we're going like, okay, what am I missing any scenes?
Hmm.
I need to like give this dialogue shape.
Hmm.
Um what am I showing and trying not to tell? What am
Yeah.
I and I do telling is okay sometimes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just as long as it's not an info dump.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I gotta like put all of the meat on those bones.
Hmm.
And then with short stories, that's generally it. I'm done.
Hmm.
With novels, it's gonna take another editing. Then I stick it in a drawer for 6 months, and
Yes.
then it comes back out and goes, okay, now we're ready to actually do an editing
Hmm.
line edit pass. At that point, usually second draft, I'll hand it off to somebody to read.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, beta
So,
readers are because I'm also a pantser in that I love for my characters to surprise me, and
yes.
then like I really enjoy the editing process because I'm still being surprised of like trying to fit
Yeah.
those pieces together. But
Hmm.
then I'm like, okay, now I'm done. I don't ever want to read this again, and that's when I pass it out
Hmm.
to my beta readers because I'm like, I can't. Like I don't care anymore. I can't look
Yeah.
at this anymore.
Yep.
So I that just makes me feel very seen because we've had a lot of planners on the show, and I'm like, am I doing something wrong?
No,
Like,
you're doing nothing wrong.
It's just
You're
different.
doing
yeah.
nothing wrong.
But I
Just
do
look.
think you mentioned about like putting in a drawer for 6 months. I
Hmm.
think that's
Yeah.
something that I often have to do
Yeah.
because I just can't switch off the writer brain and go into the editor brain that
Hmm.
easily with a certain
Yeah.
project. It's like I need some space before I can go back and approach it more objectively.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So I
Yeah.
think
Yes.
that's
Because you
really
need
good
to be able
advice.
to come back and read it as if you're a first reader,
Yeah.
Hmm.
as much as possible. I mean, it's hard to separate that, but if at all possible, you need to be a first reader. I do have I hesitate to say this, but I'm gonna say it anyway, because that way I'm beholden to it. Is I do have a new book coming out
Ooh, ooh,
soon,
ooh.
and it has a story in it that I've been sitting on for 10 years.
Wow.
And I've gone back and pulled it out and looked at it and read it and gone like, this is so good. I can't believe I wrote this thing because it's 10 years. Like once you start
Hmm.
getting far enough away, okay, I'll pause myself here. Just like side story.
Hmm.
I think it is total bullshit when authors are like, "Oh no, I hate my work," or "I'm embarrassed by my." Like,
Hmm.
don't be embarrassed.
Yeah.
Write the shit you love and put it out there because other people will love it too.
Hmm.
Yes.
But also, it's okay to love something you wrote
Hmm.
more than a published novel that you read last week.
Yeah.
Like, it is perfectly okay. I love all of my books. I love the writing. I get to go back and read them again and go like, wow, that person really knew how to write something. They wrote something just for me.
Mm, I
Yes.
And
love
that's the
that.
best feeling. So, yeah, so this thing that I'm going to be putting out into the world, um, I wrote the story 10 years ago. So at this point, like it feels like a completely different person
Right.
wrote it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can go back and read it and go like, this is real. This is probably the best thing I ever wrote. Okay, cool.
Oh,
Maybe
Wow.
it's time to actually put it out in the world. Maybe it
Hmm.
deserves to be seen, or at least have a chance to be seen.
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, it's okay to love your work.
I
I
love
love
that.
that. That's a message that I don't think we hear enough because
Hmm.
that's something that I've seen before where I go back and feel really bad about something I've written. And then
Yeah.
I'll go back and I'm like, okay, let me just take another crack at it. And I'll read it and I'm like, I don't know what I was thinking. I really like this. And,
Yeah.
I'm enjoying this. And I think that's kind of this idea of returning to the writing. Like, there's a reason that you're doing this. You love it and
Hmm.
you're writing something at the end of the day. Write it for you. That's who
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
should be writing it
Yeah.
for.
I have a
And that
story. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say that takes us back to the fan fiction stuff again
Hmm.
because fan fiction is there's a lot of things going on now with people taking their fanfics and like adapting it and
Hmm.
writing it and publishing it. I have no problem with that as long as like everything is obscured.
Right.
Twilight kind of like did the
Yep.
whole thing.
Exactly.
So like that's fine. But for vast majority of people, fanfic is completely self-indulgent because you can't publish it. You're only sharing it with other people and you're writing it initially because like I love this thing so much. I
Hmm.
haven't had enough of it. I'm going to write stories about it. And it's like so that's where I come from. I'm like, of course I love all my writing because otherwise why did I write it?
Yeah.
It was a story, it was an idea that grabbed me.
Hmm.
And I went on a journey with it and I put a lot of work into it. And, I learned a lot writing it, all those kinds of things that it's writing is completely self-indulgent, especially if you're not doing it as your career, right?
Yeah.
Completely like why else are you doing it? Why do I spend time doing it? I have a
Hmm.
full-time job. I have a huge side project. I have a
Hmm.
bazillion other things I could be doing. Why am I choosing to write? Because I love it and because I'm enjoying it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I mean, we talk about all the time, people don't choose to be writers. Like it is, like you said, it's very self-indulgent, but it's also like my mom can tell when I haven't been writing because I'll be grouchier. And she's like, "Have you been like writing lately? You really got to like work through those." So, and it's just one of those things where it's like writing is just a part of you. You can't help but do it. So I love you talking about like, I have a million other things, but I'm still gonna write because it makes me happy and because I love it. Like, that's what writing
I'm gonna
is.
actually argue that one
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
because I am not a born writer, right? I'm a born reader for
right.
sure.
Hmm. Yeah.
100%. Stories are incredibly important to
Hmm.
me. um Storytelling is incredibly important to me, but not necessarily me outputting it.
Okay.
um I chose to go out. I got an idea from watching, Revenge of the Sith, and I'm like, I think I can do something here, and I would love to like get involved somehow. Actually, maybe it's Clone Wars. I don't know. So Re- Attack of the Clones, rather.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I don't. It was back then, right?
Hmm.
And I'm like, oh, I have an idea. Oh, maybe I'll get that down. I'm like, cool, I did that. That was good. Um, and like I've gone for years without writing anything.
Wow. That's
And now,
incredible to me. Like I'm trying to compute this concept. Like I
yeah,
love that you are choosing it. That's awesome.
I'm choosing it in as much as I choose where. So I have music is another really
Hmm.
big thing for me, right? Words, books, storytelling is like my other. So I kind of like have these two big
Hmm.
loves, right? And I finally like got it through my head because I did used to feel guilty, like, wow, I'm not writing anything. I mean,
Hmm.
I hadn't until this year. I probably went for a good 3 or 4 years where I was really only finished reading like
Hmm.
maybe 3 or 4 books a year.
Hmm.
Kind of like
Yeah.
pandemic kind of broke
Oh
things
yeah. Yeah.
100%.
and disrupted a
Yes.
lot.
Yep.
So I was like, the last 5 years have been like my output and my input have been really minimal.
Hmm.
I built a guitar instead, right? Like there's still a creative outlet. But for
Hmm.
me, that's kind of the thing is like with music, I'm either listening, I'm playing guitar, I'm reading about it. Like
Hmm.
it doesn't have to be
Do you
me
compose?
making, not yet. I'm
Okay.
like, I'm such a, guitar's one of those things that's just for me and no one
Hmm.
needs to ever hear me play. And like, I love it and I love playing, but I'm not good. Like I'm intermediate at best,
Hmm.
and that's fine. It's a hobby. It's
Right.
just for me. I don't
Yep.
care.
Yeah.
The writing stuff somewhat became like a focus for a while, and that's where my skills were able to level up. But then, as it's gone on, like I really am like, okay, this story is a good idea, and
Hmm.
I want to follow through on it, and I have an engine behind that.
Hmm.
But then stuff will stop and other things will take precedence, and it's like as long as I'm somehow touching something, like the quarterly fits in there too. So like,
Hmm.
Yeah.
okay, right, like right
Yeah.
now I was on a track for doing a bunch of drabbles this month.
Hmm.
I had taken a set of, one of those word challenges,
Yeah.
story challenges and all
Hmm.
that with a set of prompts. And I was like, okay, just working through them. And then all of a sudden, like, oh, it's time to do the second round of reading. And we had like a boatload of stories that
Yeah.
Hmm.
made
Like
the
you had
final
like
round.
300 to read.
Wow.
No, I didn't have 200. I had 48 this
That's
final
wild.
Oh my
round, which
gosh.
is wild. So like in like 2 weeks. And I'm like, okay, guess what? I'm not writing right now because I'm
Hmm.
reading.
Yep.
But as I'm reading, I'm always learning something
Hmm.
about craft and all that kind of stuff. So, but I will go long periods of time where I don't write. Yeah, it's funky that I just, as long as there's something literary in my life, I'm
Yeah.
happy. It doesn't have to be me outputting.
That makes total sense. Do you do you like touch every single story that comes out in the quarterly?
Yes. I read everything. We do. Okay, I can give you the rundown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a slush round
Hmm.
where we now have 20 editors on staff. Because we need them. Because
Yeah.
although everybody's volunteer,
Hmm.
no, but I am not making money off of the quarterly in
Right.
case anyone is curious. Like I am like it comes out of my taxes.
Mm.
But other than that, like
Yeah.
there's
Right.
no money that's going on, right?
Hmm.
Um, so I need to keep that reasonable as a reasonable workload for everyone,
Yep.
right? So um first round, one story, a story gets one editor.
Hmm.
We have a high selection of like, okay, these are all our higher rated ones. Second round, each story gets 3 to 4
Hmm.
editors on it. So we get a good consensus. So at that point, we've had 4 to 5 folks reading that.
Hmm.
We get our average ratings, and I take the top chunk, and that number changes and the ratings vary, but I take the top chunk and then I read every single one of them.
Wow.
Which is why 48 this time. It's been going up this year. It used to be around like 24 and I narrowed down
Wow.
to about 15.
Mm.
But now it's up at 48 and so
Hmm.
we've talked the staff we actually talked very recently about like okay, how do we make this a little bit more manageable? Let's talk about how everybody's rating things.
Hmm.
That kind of thing. So yeah, I do touch everything that goes in. And then everybody else does the proofreading because I
Wow.
am the world's worst proofreader.
Yeah, me
And I
too.
mentioned the squirrel.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally get that. We have time for maybe like two more questions. So I'd love to
Yeah.
just for my own personal enjoyment, I'd love to
Yeah.
know what made you want to hire Maddie as one of your editors? Because I think she's wonderful, but I want to hear somebody else talk about how wonderful she is.
Oh gosh, thanks for putting me on the spot. I have to now remember
Yeah, I mean
because
that was a long
I
time ago.
remember, okay, what I will say, because like in each hiring round, I'm talking to a lot of people,
Yeah.
Mhm.
right? And then I forget, it was somebody I was adding to a list to like invite for the conversation we had about the rating, and I was like, oh wait, I thought they were in the recent round of hires. No, they were in the last round. Okay, and I keep it's a lot to keep track of.
Yeah.
But what I will say though is I remember Maddie and I having a really interesting conversation about Gideon the Ninth,
Mm.
Which you didn't
um,
like.
which I didn't like
Ooh,
at all.
controversial hot take.
I know.
I love
It,
it. I love it.
I just I read the whole thing. I
Hmm.
did because I kept reading. I'm like, I'm compelled to see where this goes,
Hmm.
and I did not enjoy it.
Wow.
I will not pick it apart because I do not want to yuck anyone else's yum. So on
Yeah.
a podcast, I will not pick it apart. Uh, but yeah, I remember us having that conversation and having a really good like back and forth about like
Hmm.
why do I not like this story? And just a really good interview conversation. And that's really the key for me. It's like
Hmm.
I do when I bring somebody on, we do like the kind of baby version of a resume,
Hmm.
fill out an application type of thing.
Right.
But then I talk to all of the applicants that have interesting looking applications.
Hmm.
And then go from there. So yeah, it really is about that one-on-one interview process
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
I
I sorry. I really liked I like talking to people who have a different opinion of me of the same
Mhm.
book because I think that's really fascinating to kind of pick apart because like, I'm not saying that it was my all-time favorite book I've ever read. I do really love it and I could see why somebody wouldn't like it. And so it was really an interesting conversation to be able to kind of go back and forth and talk about what works and what doesn't work as far as the craft is concerned.
Well, and that's what you would look for in an editor too. I love that idea of like being able to dissect it. That's cool.
Yep. Yep, that too. Yeah, the fact that we were able to have that kind of, well, let's talk about why
Hmm.
conversation was definitely really
Yeah,
cool. Really cool.
very cool.
All right.
Maddie, do you have any questions?
I do. I have our last question.
Great.
Our last question is if a writer was listening to this podcast, what one
Mm.
piece of advice would you want them to take away from this interview?
I'm so glad you asked because this is something that the quarterly staff has talked about a little bit recently and is the thing that makes or breaks whether I accept a story.
Hmm.
You gotta land the ending.
Mm,
Yes.
yeah.
Endings are hard, but you've gotta land the endings. Um, it's kind of to a degree heartbreaking how many stories that I've read and gone like, wow, this is really cool. This is great. This is awesome. Okay, I'm here. I'm here. And then it just stops.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I have too many questions, or that was really awkward, and I feel like I just got dumped out the back of a truck at 50 miles an hour.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and that is, and I don't have any advice for endings because I am a my one like I don't know if you call it my writer's like Achilles heel
Hmm.
is that I rush endings.
Hmm.
Um, but I have learned to hand my stories over to someone else to read who will
Hmm.
say, "Yo, you're rushing your ending again." And I'm
Hmm.
like, "Okay, let me go back and rewrite it." Um, but yeah, that's my biggest single piece of advice. Take good care. Your ending is just as important as your opening line,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, that's so true.
That's,
especially with short fiction.
yeah, seriously. Because every single word counts in short fiction.
Yep, we're not there long enough to
Yeah.
have
Hmm.
an awkward ending.
Yeah. It's so funny you talk about that. A book I just finished, my mom had read before me, and she was like, I don't know, like three, 4 stars. And I'm reading it and I'm like, why? This is incredible. And then I got to the ending and I was like, oh, I
Yeah.
get it now.
It's
Yeah.
so heartbreaking because it's like
Yeah.
it's such a good book, and then you get to the end, you're
Hmm.
like, and it just kind of spoils the rest of the story.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Ugh, I love that piece of advice. I focus so much on my intros that I'm probably guilty of rushing my endings too.
Yep. Yep. I'm just so excited to get to the end and
Yeah,
like,
right?
no.
It's because we don't know what's happening. So we're like, oh my God.
Right. Oh my God, I gotta get to the end because I
Yeah,
gotta find out what happens.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
I love that for you guys.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, JP. I've really enjoyed getting to meet you in this conversation. It's been great.
Yeah, not a problem. I had a wonderful time. Thank you for having me.
I'm Abigail.
And I'm Maddie, and this has been
Two writers.
Many Wrongs.